Hey everybody, how we doing? It's Busy Biz, your commish, here with the Week 5 review, recap, if you will. This is the Strictly Business podcast. Unfortunately, I do not have my co-host today, John. He's absent. Maybe he's a little sick to his stomach after he lost again this week, making that 3 in a row. What a week this was. I mean, we'll get into the overall points scored in our league, but I think we broke a record. I didn't have time to total it up. Maybe Jeff can while he's at work, wasting time on the clock. But I will tell you what, there was a ton of points scored this week. But more importantly, were the injuries. There was a bazillion, if you will, injuries this week. Starting with Thursday night, Russ Wilson, he hurt his middle finger on his throwing hand. He could be out anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks. That certainly puts a damper on my season right now. I'm going to be playing the old quarterback roulette until Russ comes back. That being said, Tom Brady, he hurt his thumb, although all signs point to him playing tonight, Thursday. So that shouldn't be an issue. But just, going through some of the injuries, man, I mean, CEH, he tweaked his knee. They say it's a sprain. It's nothing significant in that it's going to be season ending, but he could be out multiple weeks. Looks like he's going to be. Tyreek Hill, he hurt his knee, although they say he shouldn't expect to miss any time. Travis Kelce got knocked the fuck out in that game towards the end of the game, although I haven't heard anything about him missing any time. Joe Burrow, he got taken to the hospital after the game with a throat contusion. Obviously us Giants fans, we know what happened in our game. Saquon with that just freak injury where he rolled his ankle and then it swelled up like a damn watermelon on the sideline. They're saying that he can be out anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks. It's just, man, that sucks. Obviously Kenny Galladay, he sprained his knee as well, or hyperextended it. So he's out at least this week. Danny Dimes trying to put his head down and go into the end zone. He got knocked the fuck out. I mean, I don't mean to make fun of him, but he had some wobbly knees. I mean, he looked like me leaving the bar after like 17 whiskeys, just, woo. So fortunately, though, for Danny, and it's good to hear that he is practicing so far this week, and there's a strong chance that he could play because we need him. Mike Glennon is not the answer as the backup. He's just a statue back there throwing his airmail passes. I mean, you just keep going down the list here of other significant injuries. Max Williams, tight end, who's coming on for Arizona, he's done. See you, buddy. Curtis Samuel with that balky groin, he's out. He left the game and he will not be back anytime soon. Quintez Cephas, who's coming on as a Detroit wide receiver, his season's over. And then we all saw Juju Smith-Schuster as well blow out his shoulder, and he's having season-ending surgery. Just crazy amount of injuries. Those are some of the significant ones that affect fantasy for sure. But, man, it's just – what a tough time to have all these injuries coming upon week 6 when all the bye weeks begin. So not going to be fun for those fantasy GMs. Everybody out there is scrambling, even though the waiver wire is significantly weak this time of the year. So what I'm going to do, since John isn't here, I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully it's recording my screen, and we're going to go through week 5 recap. I'm going to fly through some of this because I don't have a co-host this week. I just wanted to make sure that some of you guys had something to do while you're at work Thursday afternoon, going into Friday, a little enjoyment while you're on the clock. We're going to start here with Mr. Toes against 33% chance. That 33% chance is probably down to about a 3% chance at this point after 5 weeks. As you see the score here, 169.37 to 139.32. Nikki is kicking butt. The 2-time defending champ has now won 2 in a row to creep back into the conversation for not only the playoffs, but to be a contending team. His team, as you see here, is led by Herbert. I mean, Herbert had a huge day. 398 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, added 1 on the ground as well. Certainly his connect, Mike Williams, 37.5 points, 2 touchdowns. Monster day out of those two, that connect. Over 90 points out of 2 players, and Nicky scored 169. So you look at the rest of his team, kind of chipped in, but towards the bottom here, it's very top heavy. So catch Nicky on the Chargers bye week, and you should have some success. Unfortunately, Norm had Danny Dimes starting, which I thought was a good start going into the week. He didn't look good in his first 5-6 passes. I think it was 1 for 9 or something at the beginning of the game. Looked awful. But then he got knocked out, so it didn't really matter. Kadarius Toney and Hollywood Brown certainly are the champions of Norm's shitty team here. 34 points and 29.6. The rest of his team just kind of faltered and fell apart. Looking at the bench to see if there's anything better out there. Yeah, Booker came in for Saquon. All right, Jalen Hurts was the start, I guess. Although Jalen Hurts didn't have anything going until the fourth quarter. Panthers D had 18. Falcons D still had 11. So be it. Sorry, Norm. 139 is not going to cut it, dude. And he falls to the wayside. Now, the closest matchup from week 5 was the brothers McMullen here, or the brothers Nichols, if you will. Ricky with a 182 to 176. Now, this one was back and forth all day Sunday. Yeah, let's get to the simple box score. And then on, Sunday night is some interesting things going on, because Dawson Knox here with 24 points had 117 yards and a touchdown, which gave Phil the lead for a smidgen of time. And then Tyreek woke up and he ended up with 11.3 points. But that would have been a crazy comeback of comebacks. I mean, Tyreek Hill versus Dawson Knox going into Sunday night, and Phil was down, I don't know, a few points, maybe 12, 15. No one gave Phil a shot, but Knox ended up having a huge night. Didn't do much down the stretch because Buffalo pulled away in that game. But Tyreek Hill did just enough to give Ricky just under 6 points, like 5.74 point win. So close win. Ricky's now won 3 in a row after starting 0-2. So his team is certainly one to be considered in the championship conversation, not just the playoffs. I mean, his team has been playing really well. Stafford did his thing. Robinson's been on fire, over 149 yards rushing and a touchdown. Robert Woods came to life, finally, 150 yards. Kyle Pitts, welcome to the NFL. Finally, Ricky, you and I have been trying to work a Pitts deal since week 2, and you got that kung fu grip on him, and he finally paid some dividends. 119 yards in his first NFL touchdown. Congratulations, Rick, on hanging on to him. My boy Antonio Gibson, I'm a fan of him. He got in the end zone twice. Tough luck loss for Phil when you have Aaron Rodgers throwing for over 302 touches. Devonta Adams just went off, 200-plus yards receiving in the touch, 42.1 points. Phil puts up 176.26 points and takes the loss, falling to 1-4. Phil, it's been a rough year for you. As John mentioned in the podcast last week, you had the number 1 ranked draft, which has turned into a 1-4 start. Your team's better on paper. You certainly have had a very difficult schedule when you're putting up as many points as you have been and you're losing. So moving on, this match was a little crazy as well. Finishing Sunday night, it looked like Dave was going to get the win because he still had Lamar Jackson to play on Monday night, but no one thought Lamar was going to put up 442 passing yards and 4 touchdowns. 59.88 points in that crazy comeback win against Indianapolis. Carl puts up 154, but is handed his second loss in a row. After starting 3-0, he's now 3-2. Dave gets a huge win, scoring 236.98. I mean, Ryan's record of 242 plus was in doubt for a moment there after that monster Monday night. But Dave moving up to 2-3, that's huge. Huge game out of Madison, huge game out of Sutton. Pittman, he's picking it up. Nick Chubb, Claypool. I mean, Eagles defense. Anytime you score over 200 points, you need guys to blow up. And Dave certainly had that. Looking at some of these other numbers here. Jamar Chase, he's a beast. I love that dude. Kamara, 28.15, a couple touchdowns, one on the ground, one in the air. Kirk Cousins, welcome back to earth, buddy. We realize, and I think the whole NFL realizes, you're not that good. You should stick to acapella. But yeah, Dave, 236.98, ridiculous, bro. Have a week, buddy. What a huge way to get your second win. And, if you're Carl, you just got to tip your cap. I mean, the guy drops 237 basically on you. There's not much you can do. King of the Castle against God Hates Me after week 6. Ryan, after the 242 effort, what was that? Let's see. Yeah, 242 last week on me. Comes back to earth with a 138.98. So let's call it 139. McKeever cruising along at 170. 4-1. After that opening week loss to me, he has won 4 straight. Probably has the hottest team. He and Ricky have the hottest teams in the league between the two of them. Ryan falls to 2-3. Tom Brady, he went off over 400 yards passing and 5 touchdowns. It's the first time in his career he's ever done that. Didn't really need to, but they kept slinging it against Miami. They blew him out. But 57.74 points. We thought Tom Brady was going to be the high scorer, and then Lamar Jackson, he suited up on Monday night and had that monstrous game. Eckler's coming alive, 30 points. And then also on Monday night, Andrews, tight end for Baltimore, he had a huge game in that comeback, 147 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns, but he also got 2 two-point conversions, total of 41 out of your tight end. I mean, that's huge, especially when your D drops a -2. I mean, you look at the rest of his roster, he had 1, 2, 3 guys really carry the team this week, and Andrews, Eckler, and Brady. And he needed it, especially with Saquon going out. DJ Moore had the worst game of the year. I don't expect that to happen again this week, but all top receivers have a flop week. Just so happened he didn't need it. I mean, out of those 3 guys, you're looking at 58, 10, 118, damn near 150 points out of 3 guys. Congratulations, Jeff. 4-1. Ryan, mediocre week. I mean, everything's going to be considered mediocre after you drop 242. But hey, at least you got some money coming to you, buddy. At the end of the year, I don't foresee that high week ever being topped. Even though Dave came close, I don't think it's going to happen. All right, so one of the matchups of the week here is No Money Mahomes versus Ice Cream Man. Now, RJ started the season 3-0, and he's certainly been dealt his fair share of injuries. He's got Julio Jones, Chris Carson, Calvin Ridley. He didn't play due to personal reasons, and now he's on a bye going into week 6. So those are 3, starters that didn't play for RJ. Again, anytime you score under 100 points, you can't be asking for a win. It's just most likely not going to happen in this league, although it happened last week. But RJ lost 2 in a row now, falls to 3-2. And there's got to be some concern in Kansas City with Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey. I mean, between the two of them, they had 34, 35 plus points. You expect just that out of Pat Mahomes. Now, don't get me wrong. Pat Mahomes has been a stud all year, but I just don't like what I see in the Kansas City team. I mean, we talked about it in a group text. The defense is full of holes, specifically in the back end of that defense. They're just getting sliced and diced. Guys are running wide open. Defensive backs are just missing assignments completely. There's a ton of confusion. So that puts a lot more pressure on the offense to be in these shootouts, which we should expect. I think Kansas City's going to right the ship. They play Washington this week. Granted, it's on the East Coast. It's an early start, but I see Kansas City blowing out Washington this week. Now, I want to talk about Rich here because Rich is on the opposite end here, where he started 0-3, and he's won 2 in a row. And he's throwing his hat back in the ring, saying, hey, don't forget about me. And he did make that comment to me a few weeks ago. He said, don't let my team get healthy. I'm going to have a scary squad. Well, anytime you get 47.5 out of Josh Allen, 315 yards, 3 passing TDs, throwing 59 yards rushing and a touchdown on the ground. You got Emmanuel Sanders with 2 touchdowns. I mean, Stephon Diggs really hasn't even had a Stephon Diggs type week yet. And Rich is right back in the conversation. Hunter Henry, great spot start there. Bears D, 17 points against the Raiders. That was a monster game out of the defense. Kareem Hunt chipped in with 23 points. And he's got 15 out of Williams too. But fact of the matter is Josh Allen is awoke. Look out the rest of the league. When he starts connecting with Stephon Diggs, you got a Manny Sanders. We all know, but Dawson, Knox, they got pass catchers galore. We haven't even talked about Beasley. Beasley didn't do shit, 5 yards receiving. That team is flying high. And as long as they're playing this well, which it seems like they're starting to click after two tough weeks to start the season, Rich's team is back in the thick of things at 2-3. The other matchup of the week we had last week was me against my co-host here, John. And for a minute, I have to be honest with you guys, I was nervous. After Thursday night, I got only 10 points out of my starting quarterback. Russ went down. He didn't play most of the second half. Finished with 152 yards, a touch, and a deflection and interception. I was nervous, but thank God the rest of my team's pretty good because they put up, take Russ out of the equation. My team scored 201 without Russ. And John still had a solid week at 152, but sorry, buddy, dropped a 200 burger on your face. Derrick Henry, he's just a man amongst boys, 130 and 3 touches. Najee, he did what most people didn't think he could do this week, which is run the ball on the ground against that stingy Denver D. 122 yards and a touch. Mike Evans went off, as we talked about. Tom Brady had over 400 yards passing, 113 of them to Evans with 2 touchdowns. Mari Cooper chipped in. DK did get 2 touchdowns, just short of a bonus with 98 yards receiving. Schultz, 79. Jonathan Taylor went off on Monday night. Didn't really need it, but I'll take it with that long receiving touchdown. John, back to the drawing board here. Kyler's had a couple bad weeks in a row. They say it could be something with his thrown shoulder. We're not sure. I mean, he's toughing it out and he's playing through it. But if you look at his last couple weeks, he hasn't been the same Kyler Murray. And they've been running the ball more, for sure. Zeke Elliott ran all over my Giants. It was ugly. It was tough to watch. Zeke's legit. Zeke is certainly a top 5 back this year. And I hate to say this, even I cringe in saying this, but Dallas has a really good offense. They have a really good offense. AB, Antonio Brown, he chipped in with 2 touchdowns and over 100 yards receiving as well in that shootout game. John, I think, again, part of the reason why he may not be on the podcast this week is because started 2-0, And he says, yeah, I'm sitting pretty. I really don't need to do much with my team. I'm just tinkering. Now he's lost 3 in a row. Now he's out there throwing Kyler Murray deals around, trying to like shake up the planet, shake up the fantasy landscape. I'm open for business. I'm just not going to give up 3 studs for Kyler Murray. I mean, I know he's worth it. I'm going to play the quarterback roulette game until Russ comes back, hoping he does come back. Let's look at the standings here. So in #MeToo, Ricky has climbed all the way back. Again, started 0-2. We were talking shit about his team. Now he's won 3 in a row, and he's in a tie with RJ, but he's scored roughly 80 points more. So he takes first place at 3-2. Ice Cream Man's at 3-2. God Hates Me after week 6, 2-3. The Bronx are 2-3. This division is extremely tight, obviously, with all teams within 1 game of each other. And the points are all jacked. I mean, you got the guy in 3rd place with the most points, the guy in 4th place with the 2nd most points, and so on. Mediocreville has been basically how the division's named, Mediocreville. Carl's in 1st, 3-2. You got John at 2-3, and Norman Phil down at the bottom at 1-4. I don't know what's going on here with this division, but aptly named Mediocreville for sure. Then you got the toughest division in the league, where as it sits after 5 weeks, there would be 3 of us in the league, 3 of us in the playoffs. And as I mentioned before, Rich No Money Mahomes is 2-3, and he's one of the hottest teams in the league. So you got Cooking with Russ at 4-1, King of the Castle at 4-1, Mr. Toes at 3-2, No Money Mahomes at 2-3. Now, my only loss is to Ryan's 242 last week, and Jeff's only loss was to me week 1, where his team didn't perform, and they've been kicking ass for 4 straight weeks since. Mr. Toes is creeping in at 3-2, and like I said, Rich's team is scary at 2-3. So certainly it looks like our division, Blue Bubble, is the strongest division, 100%. Now, this week has been quiet thus far on the trades out there. We have one here with Devontae Parker for Eli Mitchell, yada, yada. But otherwise, there really hasn't been any trades this week, which is crazy. Now, I think people are, certainly puckering their buttholes because, again, we got bye weeks coming up starting here in week 6. And with all the injuries, some of the ones that I've named, some I'm sure I missed, guys are just challenged to find even a starting lineup. Matter of fact, before I started recruiting this, Nikki put out a text saying, hey, I need help. I need running back help. I mean, guys are just dropping like flies. And it's going to be like throwing darts in the dark, man. I mean, I'm carrying 4 quarterbacks right now just to play the quarterback roulette while Russ is out. 3 of them are not named Russ, but still, it's like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm just going to take a shot in the dark, play the matchups each week and see what happens, hoping that the rest of the team can pick me up. We shall see. You never know. All right. So moving on. Like I said, we're flying through this since I don't have a co-host this week. I'm sorry, guys, but I wanted to give you something to chew on. This week we have, again, week 6, beginning of the buys. The standings are starting to take shape a bit within each division. First, we'll start right here. Cooking with Russ against Rick Talk. I'm facing one of the hottest teams in the league who's won 3 in a row. Fortunately, when we both have guys out on bye this week, Jamison Crowder, whatever, my Saint D, they're out. He's got Ayuk out, Callaway is out, and Kyle Pitts out, all on buys. So obviously Russ is out. So we're not playing with a full squad here. Right now, based on projections, it looks like They're giving me the edge cooking with Russ, but we shall see. I mean, there are some good matchups. There are some not so good matchups. That Jacksonville-Miami matchup and the Washington-Kansas City matchup for Ricky's backfield with Robinson and Gibson, that scares me. Both those teams, Miami and Kansas City, have given up a lot on the ground. And then Tyreek Hill's playing in that game on the other side. If Washington can score some points, that could be a shootout type game. This one should be interesting for sure. Naturally, I like the Najee Harris matchup against Seattle because Seattle's defense has been putrid. I drafted them. I literally just dropped them this week. I think they have a total of like negative 21 points on the year. Yeah, you're terrible. Hoping that continues and Pittsburgh can run all over them in a primetime matchup on Sunday night. I mean, the rest of the matchups, I mean, I don't know what to expect out of DK playing at Pittsburgh with backup quarterback playing. I mean, Geno Smith, really? Geno's still in the league? I mean, he's really good at holding a clipboard. I can tell you that. And wearing the ball cap on the sidelines. But can he throw the ball still? Can he make reads? That game could get ugly quick. Nonetheless, Ricky, good luck this week. I need to take your ass down. Hand you a loss. My team's going to do the best that I can, given the circumstances. Our leader, he's cooking with one hand right now on the bench. All right, no money Mahomes versus God Hates Me after week 6. This is an interesting matchup. Again, two teams that are 2-3, but I feel like these two teams are heading in opposite directions. No money Mahomes, again, he's creeping up the standings, playing his ass off behind these Bills. And the Bills get the game at Tennessee, prime time, Monday night. So this one's going to come down to Dallas and whether or not they can actually throw the ball against New England on Sunday afternoon. And then sit back and watch the Bills run up and down the field in Nashville. This one, I don't know. I'm sorry, Ryan. Right now, it looks like they're giving you the edge, but I don't see it, buddy. I don't see it. Not the way the Bills have been playing. And I expect them to continue on and do what they've been doing, just airing it out. Looking at Ryan's matchups here, again, that New England Dallas game is huge for him. He's got a couple guys questionable. Hawkinson. Doesn't look like Devontae Parker's going to play. So that could be interesting. Let's see who he's got on his bench here. Oh, Cordarrelle Patterson's on a bye. That's no bueno. And again, Rich though has David Montgomery, who's hurt. They just made the announcement before I recorded this that Williams was put on the COVID list, so he's not going to play on Sunday. That's a knock on Rich's team. And then Michael Thomas should be coming back. Who knows? Who knows when he's coming back? Jarvis Landry's hurt. I mean, you put those guys in here, David Montgomery, Jarvis Landry, Michael Thomas in this lineup. Like, yeah, Rich has a really good team now. I mean, the tides have turned for sure. Congrats, Rich, on pulling your ass out of the basement at 0-3, 1-2 in a row. Looks like there's a chance, strong chance, you go 1-3 in a row and level off at 3-3. Okay, so Jeff finally gets what he called a cupcake lapper week. I know we had the schedule snafu a few weeks ago, and unfortunately, Jeff was the only one that really gave me shit because he was supposed to play Norm that week, and ironically, Norm would have beat him that week. So now Jeff gets Norm 33% chance against King of the Castle. Again, McKeever 4-1. He's won 4 in a row. Norm is limping into this game, searching for options, lineup changes, and just a mess. 1-4. I think someone, it was Carl or McKeever, put it out on Tuesday this week that if Norm had the team he drafted, he would have scored over 200 points last week, which is nuts. I think Norm's done 19 trades this year. I think he's done maybe 15 too many. Nonetheless, I'm rooting for you, Norm, because I'd love for you to knock off Jeff, who's in my division. You got Jalen Hurts playing tonight against Tampa Bay. He's got Miles Sanders going tonight as well. I'm hoping Kadarius Toney can play because I love watching that dude. He's exciting. He's fun. I mean, that was a great pickup, Norm. Great pickup. Hollywood Brown. Yeah, this is looking at the matchups. He also has got Booker in there. Why not? Norm's got a few injuries that he's dealt with. Oh yeah, Damian Harris was another one. He left the game last Sunday with rib injury. He's questionable for this week. Rob Gronkowski's already been designated as out for tonight's game. I don't even think he traveled to Philly with the team. Obviously, McKeever's got Barkley, who's not playing this week. Mooney might be out. Okay, just picked up Elijah Mitchell. He's on a bye week. No one really cares. I mean, otherwise, McKeever's running out his squad here. Certainly, it depends on what Tom Brady can do with Chris Godwin tonight on the Thursday night game to get that week started for him. McKeever just got a huge boost with Herbert, the running back for Chicago, because Williams is now on the COVID list. They got no one else to hand the ball to. So that was a huge pickup, and now a legitimate starter for this week. DJ Moore, like I said, he's going to bounce back against Minnesota this week. Expect that. Andrews won't score 40, but he's a top 5 tight end, hands down. Devonta Smith, solid ass wide receiver 1 out of Philly. He's definitely separating himself. That goes tonight. So it looks like McKeever's got a few guys. They both got a few guys going tonight. This should be interesting. Both their quarterbacks. As I mentioned, Miles Sanders is going, Chris Godwin, and Devonta Smith. So there's going to be some activity for you guys tonight. All right. Personally, looking at this, just looking at the names and the matchups, I'd give the edge to McKeever. If I were a betting man, I would bet on McKeever. But in my heart, Norm, I'm really rooting for you, bro. I'm looking for 2-4. Have a monster week. Sit the king of the castle down. Make him a jester. Let's go. All right, little Licky, Nicky, Normie, Puss. Excuse me. Against the Bronx. Dave's riding high after that 236 last week. And again, Phil, he's 1-4, but scored 170 plus points yet again and lost. Let's break this one down. Phil is in dire need. Both teams are in dire need of a win. Dave's trying to ride high and make it a winning streak. Phil's trying to break the losing streak here. Okay, so Aaron Rodgers, he's playing at Chicago early on Sunday. That's not a bad matchup, although Chicago D has been stout. They're solid. Phil's got Fournette going tonight. He's got Gaskin at Jacksonville. I doubt Gaskin's going to have 35 catches like he did last week. I never know. Cook should bounce back against Indy's shitty secondary. Shepard might be back. All signs point towards him coming back. Dawson Knox, we already talked about him. He's a part of that high-flying Buffalo offense. Darrell Williams, he's getting the start because CEH is down. That's a good matchup against Washington. Didn't think I'd say that earlier in the year. What happened to Washington's D? Josh Jacobs, he's playing a tough run defense, but they just got, gouged by Najee Harris in the Pittsburgh offense. And as I mentioned, no one saw that coming. So who knows what's going to happen with Jacobs? Side note, who knows what to expect out of the Las Vegas Raiders this week? As we all know, Gruden abruptly resigned. And, as he should, given what has come out. But what does that leave that team now? I mean, where are they going with their offense? I mean, they have no leadership. People are, missing practice. Like, it's a mess. A good friend of mine out here, he's a diehard Raiders fan. He's like, it's a shit show. And they're playing here in Denver this week. So I don't know what to expect. Obviously, I always root against Denver. I love seeing Denver lose because I love hearing about it on the local radio, all them crying. But nonetheless, Raiders bounce back week or Broncos bounce back week to be determined. Looking at the matchups here, looks like Dalvin Cook's going to play. Carolina's got a great defense, but still, it's Dalvin Cook. Nick Chubb's been on a roll, second leading rusher in the league, playing up against Arizona. That Baltimore Chargers game, that could be a little bit of a shootout. we'll see. We'll see if Baltimore's still riding high after that comeback win on Monday night, or if they have a little downer, although they will be home. Let's see. Cortland Sutton, Pittman, Waddle, Waller, Claypool. Wow. Okay. This is a barn burner of a matchup here. It's projected to be close. I think both teams need the win. Ultimately, as it normally does, it's going to come down to which quarterback scores most points. Certainly in the running back room, I give the edge to Dave. Wide receivers, it's closer than you might think, but Adams probably gives Phil the edge. Waller hasn't done much in the last few weeks. Knox has been killing it. That's a toss-up. Man, this is a pick 'em. This is a pick 'em. Down the middle. Sorry, guys. Don't have an opinion other than that. Now, we're going to go to this one here. So, Carl KZ versus Mr. Toes. Again, two teams heading in opposite directions. Carl's 3-0, but yet lost 2 in a row. Now 3-2. Certainly the CMC injury has hurt him. Mr. Toes, Nicky, he's 3-2 now, won 2 in a row. Again, this is another matchup with someone in my division. So naturally, Carl, I'm rooting for you, my dude. Let's get a W. Let's break that losing streak and send Nicky out on his ass. Obviously, everything, again, wavers on whether or not the Chargers can have a shootout type game with the triple stack or the double stack that he's got working. Whatever you want to call it. It's a double, triple stack. He's got Herbert, Allen, Williams. Who else is he going to pick up? Oh, he's got Cook on the bench. I mean, so predictable, Nicky. Doesn't want to break it up. Let's see. Oh, Mike Davis is on a bye. That's trouble. That's trouble. And that's what's hurting Nicky this week. I mean, he's got Aaron Jones, CEH. He's hurt. They put him on the IR. Thanks, Nick, for actually following the rules. Logan Thomas is on the IR as well. No more double IR spots unless the guy's on COVID. Please. One spot is for COVID. The other spot is for an injured guy on injured reserve. Don't know how many times I have to repeat myself. But yeah, Aaron Jones is out there. Nicky, we could do I can get you Hines and Taylor for Aaron Jones base. I mean, talk to me, Goose. Let's go. Carl is got right now CMC in the lineup, but all signs point to him not playing again. AJ Brown is certainly back. Jamar Chase, beast. Looking at this is another one of those pick'em type matchups because again, it really depends on the Chargers. I mean, the Chargers blow up. Keenan Allen or Mike Williams are going to get theirs. And Herbert's been a beast this year. He's been solid as fuck when it comes to quarterbacks. Carl's certainly hurt with CMC not playing or possibly not playing. And then you look at the two guys, he's got two studs on their buys in Kamara and Samuel. Probably not the week that you want them to both have buys if CMC is out because you're on a 2-game losing streak, Carl, and you need to win. But anything's possible. It's fantasy football. It certainly could, you got guys that can blow up. I mean, I don't see it out of Robbie Anderson, but just because I said that, he'll probably catch a touchdown this week. You're welcome, Carl. Toss up, but I'm rooting for Carl. Let's go. All right. Matchup of the week, in my opinion. Again, I don't have a co-host to discuss this with, and he probably want to pick himself, but I'm looking at John's AJ Green's Twitter timeline against Ice Cream Man. Now, again, both these teams are riding losing streaks. RJ started 3-0. He's now 3-2. John started 2-0. He's now 2-3. Both these teams need to break that streak and get back into the winner's circle. Based on rosters and names on paper, both these teams have two of the better teams in the league. But nowadays 150 is kind of like that, I guess, marker to reach in order to get a win in our league. But in the last few weeks, 150 is not a guarantee. 175 might be the new marker. Shit. If you're playing Dave or Ryan in the last couple of weeks, you might need to score 240 to win. Nonetheless, Kyler's hobbled playing at Cleveland. That game could be a shootout. I'm hoping it is because it's more fun if it is. You got Zeke at New England. New England's notoriously tough against the run. We'll see there. John's basically starting every Arizona Cardinal you can start minus Christian Kirk. So we'll just put that there. Antonio Brown goes tonight for him. Okay. Got Zach Moss back in the lineup as of this recording. No one really on buys for John. Again, Calvin Ridley is on a bye this week. Hopefully he'll be back from his personal matter in week 7. But, looking at this, Chris Carson is questionable. Julio Jones has been practicing. He should be back out there. Jefferson got tweaked a little bit, but he should be in there. It shouldn't be a problem. D. Slay, he might be back this week. Actually, as a Giants fan, I'm hoping he is. This one is split right down the middle here. I know this is more for bragging rights, but given the situation in which these two teams are in, John and RJ both need this win. RJ is trying to keep pace now with Ricky. John's trying to keep pace with Carl. Losing streaks are on the table. If I were a betting man, I'd probably bet on the fact that RJ's going to win. That's if Chris Carson plays. That's a big if. Chris Carson doesn't play, I think I give the edge to John looking at these lineups. Yeah. You know what? Fuck it. Chris Carson plays or not, I'm giving the edge to John. Yep. I'm rooting for my running mate this week. John, go get yourself a win. It's unfortunate that you haven't won a game in 3 weeks. Let's end the madness now. All right. Ice Cream Man goes down. Ice Cream Man melts in the middle of October. Wow. Wouldn't that be a headline? All right. Now, let's go back here. What am I doing? Got all these new controls. Someone help me. Oh, we're back. Well, listen, guys, I appreciate your time and, sticking with me. Like I said, I wanted to make sure you had some sort of recap and podcast going into the week. Right now, it's just about 3:00 Mountain Time, so it's about 5:00 East Coast time, which means you guys are all getting out of work. So it's a perfect time to post this podcast. I don't really have much other than, parting shots. I mean, as you guys all know, we're all really good friends in this league. Ricky's my best friend in the league. Nothing more would make me happier than to whoop Ricky's ass this week and end his 3-game winning streak. That being said, it's not going to be easy. I know he's got a couple guys out. I've got a couple guys out. We're both not coming at this with our A lineup. Let's see what happens. Best of luck to you guys in dealing with all those injuries this week. Week 6 is officially here. Kickoff in a matter of 3 hours. Bucks and Philly. Should be a good one. Y'all have a good one.